This is Richard back at you. Today we're going to kind of join a few or all of our videos together. We're going to try to make episodes out of them. So kind of y'all know what's exactly going on in our shop day to day. So we're going to kind of connect things together. So on our last video, we did a 4R100 in an 02 Ford, which this is it right here in Mr. Green's pickup. We got the tranny tore down in a previous video. We got it all built back together. All new billet converter, cooler bypass, solenoid pack, all new clutches, bands, and everything like that. Now, when we tore the tranny down in the videos, it's hard to verify what's gone wrong with these trannies and to see the wear in them. So this tranny had a lot of wear in it that we didn't see. All new planetaries all the way through, overdrive section. I mean, just everything about it was just wore out from heavy towing. So we got it all back together. Trent's going to be putting it in tomorrow and get it going. So let's go on. We got Mr. Aston's 82 Caprice?
73.
Excuse me, see, I haven't had a look at my hand. 73 Caprice. This is a beautiful car, guys. It's got a 350 in it, automatic transmission, a 350 motor. This car has been totally gone through from top to bottom. Now we're going to be pulling the 3-speed tranny out of it, and we're going to be putting a 700 R4 in it. This is a really beautiful car. Check this out real quick and just give them a general idea, Trent, how pretty this car is. Now this is a one of a kind ride right here, guys. This thing is really awesome. And we're happy to be able to do it for him. I mean, all the interior, I mean, this thing is up and up. It's really beautiful. So we're excited to be able to do this for him and get it going for him. We're going to put an overdrive in it, get it going. Let's go on to the next one. Now this is a truck that we did the transmission in. They went home and put it in, Mr. Ford's Dakota. It's got, I believe, a 360 motor, really healthy motor. This is a really cool truck. So check this out. This is a really nice job he did here. I've been trying to talk him into putting 2 turbos on here that make it really interesting, but he did a really nice job when he put this in here. It's a really nice little street truck, really good cruiser. So, well, we're going to go back here and tear down the core for this little red Caprice here really quick. Y'all come on, check this out. Now, what we got is a 4-wheel drive core, because they're easier to come by, it seems like. I don't know why. But we got a 2-wheel drive case that we're going to be putting all the parts and stuff out of this one here. Now this is a 4-wheel drive case here. You can see with aluminum dust cover bolts on. And then we have a 2-wheel drive case that your metal cover bolts on. Now this is the case that we're going to put back in it, but we need a core to get all the internal parts out of it and stuff like that to have something to work with. So let's get this apart and see what a core looks like. So cores ain't been very good to us lately. Seems like we've been getting a ration of bad ones. Or getting a few sent to us that's really bad. So, lubricant there. You don't see that too often, so that tells me there that seal is probably really hard and shrunk up. Normally it's a challenge to get these things out right here. So, but before I get any further, I did get a prize. I was really impressed.
Oh, yeah.
John, I want to thank you guys for the gift. I almost forgot again to put them gloves on, guys. I mean, it's just, if you don't do it, it's really tough. But he sent me some of these here for me to try out. He said these are really good gloves. Diamond grip. We're going to try these out real quick. John, I appreciate you. You know it. I'm glad you sent them because I'm going to put them on. I just got to get that old school out of me and start doing it right. So let's see how this goes, guys. He said these are really good about grip and stuff like that. So they went on really good, better than the black ones. Normally I tear them black ones and stuff when I put them on. So these did go on really nice. So
I tear the black ones too sometimes.
yeah, and they're supposed.
Ravens.
Yeah, they're supposed to be really good too. So Now we are going to put a Corvette servo on this no matter what, just because it is so heavy. We're not going to put a, we're going to use the standard overdrive servo though, cover and piston. Now this says it's an 85, but I don't think it is. I'm curious to see what it is. It does have the big input shaft, which is good. Big old heavy car like that. Now we will still be putting all the good parts in this thing. The big bands, the Z-Pack, the roller clutch hub. Just everything about it. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Well, pretty nasty in the pan, but so far not bad for a core. Really excited. Not much water in it or anything like that from been sitting outside. It's not rusted up. But if you look here, it is a 4L60. It's not a 700. But that's okay. We can make it work no matter what. So, but it is a little bit later design. Now that tells me there though, being a 4L60, we definitely got to look at our case configuration from here to verify, because the 4L60 and 700 has a different case configuration. And it's mainly where this accumulator section is right here. On the 700, this was not here. So that's what we're going to be looking at to verify if that case will even work with these parts. It's got a seal retainer on it. Let's see here. And we'll get our forward accumulator tube right here. Off here. Is that your phone, Trent?
Oh, that's your phone going off in there, making a
Oh, it is. I thought my phone was in my pocket.
They probably can barely hear it, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I just hit my box in the back. Is it still working? I just tapped it. Just for...
We're still on.
Okay.
We look to be good.
Look to be good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what we're going to be doing on this one here, now this is going in a car that doesn't have any control for lockup. We're going to take this temp sensor out and throw it away. We're not going to use it anymore, because we don't want it to control our lockup or anything like that. So what we're going to do here, guys, I'll make this real easy if you want to put one of these in a car with a key-on power wire that'll work through a pressure switch. What you do is you take the positive wire right here and you let it run out the connector to the top right here, and that's going to be your key-on power wire. Then you're going to take the negative wire off this solenoid and you're going to run it over here to this pressure sensor right here. The thing is, you got to make sure this is an on and off pressure switch. In other words, it's off with no pressure and on with pressure. So that's what you have to put in here. You can buy these from Transtar and places like that. You can actually buy them off the internet, this on and off switch right here. But all you got to do is do that, run that there, run a key-on power wire, turn the key on, boom, you got power going to your lockup solenoid. When it gets up into fourth gear, it grounds the solenoid, turns lockup on, boom, there you go. Now, if you wanted to kick out on passing gear, you can run your ground circuit through a TPS switch or something like that, or through another switch that you can hit the gas pedal or something like that to turn it off. Turn it off that way too. So there's multiple ways to do it, but that is one of the easiest ways. You can even run your power through a brake switch to where you run, when you hit the brake, you turn your converter off too with the power. So actually that is how the computer, or not the computer, but the brake switch does it. Now the computer physically turns the ground off and on. So We got our lockup solenoid here. But like I say, you gut this harness out, just pull it all apart like this, and you pull these wires out of here and find the ground. If you just do it just right, watch this, guys. I got the power. You can take this ground. What I do is do it like this. I'm gonna leave this ground wire connected to the switch right here. Cut that out. Cut that out. I'm gonna cut that out. Now I got my ground switch. See, I didn't even have to buy nothing. So now, I'm just gonna take this out of here just to give you an idea. This, I probably ain't gonna be able, well, it'll come out this way. I'm gonna strip this, just like that. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're doing
Okay. Now, what we got is we got our solenoid stripped, and we still have our plugs, and we didn't even mess nothing up. So we're going to take and put this right back in here. Now we're going to run this over here, and we're going to hook it back to our standard plug down in here, just like that. You're going to wire it, run it nice and pretty where it doesn't get in the way. And then you're going to grab this plug here and look at it. It's going to come over here and slide right onto your new solenoid you just bought off eBay or wherever you bought one off Transtar. And now how simple was that? Run a key on power wire, boom, there you go. Pretty simple. And use your own wiring harness and solenoid and stuff. So that tells you how we do it. I mean, this exactly is how this one will be set up when it leaves here. So now if you ran power to that solenoid all the time, since this one here, this is another thing you need to know. On this here, being this is a 4L60 tranny, if you put a ball down this solenoid like you do the 700, right when you put it in gear, it's going to kill the motor. Because this valve body here doesn't have a lockup valve. It's a solid plug. So with our 700s, your valve had to move to send fluid to here to make it lock up. So without this here, the valve being in here, it just sends it direct to it. So it locks it right up instantly. You put it in gear and reverse or drive. So that's why you cannot just drop a check ball in a 4L60. Now I get people all the time too asking me about this little pin right here. I had a gentleman ask me about it. And this check ball that's down in this hole right here. And you see this little pin. The 700s don't have that pin. They started introducing that in the 4L60Es in this later version right here. See? So, but if you left that ball, if you put up the ball in there and you put a linkage in there without this pin, the tranny won't shift. But if you leave that ball out, you don't ever have to worry about it because it doesn't really do anything unless you mess up on putting the wrong linkage in it. So you can put the ball in as long as you got the pin. If you don't have a pin, you don't put the ball in right there. So there should be a ball in there when I take it apart. But if you notice, this tranny has been rebuilt. It's black and painted in color, so somebody's been into it. So. Now some of your overhaul kits, the 700s, will come with the universal gaskets. It'll come with the gaskets for this year, and it'll come with the gaskets for the 700. They will not interchange, but everything physically else inside this tranny, seal-wise, will interchange, except the forward clutch and the third gear clutch in the drum up here. So. Now I was talking about, if you notice here, we have no lockup valve in here. There ain't even a casting for it. Now some of the 4L60 trannies did have a casting here with an aluminum plug in it. But that's all it was there. They were just getting ready to change gears, and that's how they cured the problem. They took a 700 valve body or however and just put a plug in it. But the 700 will physically have a valve and spring in here. It'll have two valves and a spring actually that works back and forth to control lockup. So there's so many ways to make these trannies work, and it's really cool to be able to have the opportunity for me to do it and Trent to learn on how to do it, because there's so much to them, and they're a lot of fun. They really are. We enjoy building them and going out and seeing how they work and stuff like that. And that's how we make them better. You know, I come here, I say, hey, Trent, come here and check this out, Trent. Look how much better this works since we did this. And it does.
Tricks to the trade.
Tricks to the trade. You know, same way here, this piston right here, guys, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to shorten the shift on this tranny just a little bit just by this doing what I'm fixing to show you. Now if you notice, that piston's sitting low in the block. Sitting low. If you take I'm just going to grab a couple of these really quick because I have them everywhere. These are 5/18 shims for the overdrive housing, for the forward drum. But you can take and drop them in there like that, lift that piston up. Now look where your spring's at. How easy was that? And it will work flawless. But now you just shorten the stroke on this piston, which is going to shorten the stroke on the shift. So little stuff like that makes a big difference, guys, on this stuff. So now, being that this is a 4L60 tranny, this tranny had 3/4 clutch failure, just as bad or worse than the 700. And this is one of the reasons why. If you come over and look at this, guys, this is your 3/4 regulator ball right here. You notice there's no hole right here beside it like you see every other check ball. If you notice here, we have a check ball, we have an orifice. We have a check ball, we have an orifice. Check ball, we have an orifice. We do not have an orifice right there. If you go back and look at any type of shift kit or any type of bullets from ATS, ATRA, or anything like that, they're going to want you to drill a hole right here. That way, this ball hits, they pressure up with this hole here to the 3/4 clutch. So that's the #1 killer right there, is why this tranny failed, is that one little small error right there that they made. Now also, on this accumulator, this is your forward accumulator, and you put it in drive, they put accumulator spring in here just like this. And what they're doing, they're using it to control the shift. And they're using it to control the shift into gear. This is controlled to control second gear shift feel. So you have aluminum piston in here, same piston, interchange. So, but on some of these right here, this check ball will fall out. It don't have fingers right here to hold it in like this one does. You'll take this off like this, it'll fall, the ball will roll out, and you'll never even know you lost it. But this here does have a retainer for it. So I am hoping that we have a good case match, and we do. All right. So what I was looking at was right through here to verify that it looks the same through here on this 2-wheel drive case to match them up. So that tells me there that I can pull all my 4-wheel drive, take all this stuff out of this case, and I can clean this case up here and put it all back together. And now we got a 2-wheel drive case. We can put a nice dust cover on it and stuff like that and get him going. So we'll save this case right here for somebody else at the river, because we do a lot of river stuff around here. Now you notice here how they had the spring and then they had the piston like that. We notice on the 4L60Es it's opposite. You have the piston and then the spring like that. Which I'm going to block this anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that gives you an idea of the little bit of difference change that they did when they went from year to year. Now if you look here too, we have a trough. We have a trough in the plate. We have a trough here. We have no check ball. we have a trough in the plate, but it's square and we don't have a second hole. So that tells me no check ball here. But if you look here, we have a trough, a dual hole, we have a check ball there. And then we come over here, we have our standard check balls here, 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 and then we have one here. So, now anytime you do a filter and fluid change on one of these, can't tell, I think there's just one down in there.
Yeah.
There's just one down in here right now, the filter seal. The new filter will come with a seal on it. Always dig in there and get it out. If you don't, you're capable of cracking the neck right here. When you bolt the pan on, it'll bust it right here sometimes. So you always want to dig that out. Get our parking linkage apart here. You know, this tranny doesn't smell burnt at all, it just smells old. So I'm excited that maybe we got a really nice core compared to our 4L80E yesterday on our last episode of the.
Yeah, that thing was tore up.
Yeah. Actually, I was able to find all the parts for it, the new pump, I mean everything for it. So it all should be here tomorrow. Now this tranny is painted black. Back in 25 years ago or so, we used to paint them black. It makes you wonder if this is one of my trannies. Yeah, that'd be something to see, wouldn't it?
That would be crazy.
We quit painting them black a long, long time ago. It wasn't any reason. It was just because black paint got expensive. And we got away from it, went back to silver.
Silver.
I had a guy the other day on, I seen on another web page wanting to verify does different paint color have any difference on transmission temperature, heat, or anything like that. You know, does black hold heat worse than silver or red or blue or whatever? And I really can't verify it. I don't really know. We've painted them multiple colors at multiple shops that I've worked at and stuff like that, so it's really hard to say. Pump looks really good. Got staining. You can see it, but you can't feel it. And this is a big shaft pump, so that's good there. Now we just have the stock rotors and stuff in here. 10 vein. Now we'll go back with a 13 vein in here. Like I said, we're not going for performance or anything on this. We're just going for durability, and he wants to be able to cruise it and not have to worry about nothing. So that's what we're going to give him. Get this out here.
This ain't your unit.
Nope, not my unit.
Look why. You can tell me why.
Well, the pump's not glued together for one.
Oh, well, yeah, that.
And because I've been gluing my pumps together for 30 years.
True that.
Stock band, we haven't done that in years. We just don't do it. I don't even remember the last time we put a stock band in a tranny.
Don't remember.
It's been a long time. Now, if you notice here, we do have a small hole drum. 90% of the 4L60 trannies had a small hole reverse drum feed hole here. If you go and put a big hole here, you're going to cause a harsh reverse. So just remember that, guys. Now this drum looks all sanded up funny, but it looks really nice. This drum will clean up really nice. No warpage, anything like that. Now this does have the thinner reverse clutch, being a 4L60. But it does take the same reverse clutch as a 4L60E all the way up to the 70s. Now you can see the steels have been hot, stuff like that, the vacuum plate. So it needs some work there. Now this tranny here is the year that the paperwork come out and said take all the 3/4 load springs out. Guys, this will be the year this will probably be missing, but I still see them come in all the time. But this is when the bulletins come out and stuff said to take them out, because of that hole not being in that plate and stuff we talked about earlier. I was showing you the drill and stuff like that. So everybody took them out to save third gear. Well, it ended up being a problem, especially if you put a wide band and you put your Z-pack in there. Let me tell you, that Z-pack's gonna come on before that wide band can get out of there. So let's see what we got. Well, this guy must not have been a member of ATRA or something like that, because they're in there. Because like I say, we've been to so many transmission seminars. Now just a stock clutch. Got our load springs in here. Now they're hammered down to nothing. I mean, they're barely sticking over the edge there. Put some new ones in there. The forward clutch looks pretty thin. See how much gap we got here, Trent, in the snap ring?
Mm-hmm.
See how low that's setting?
Oh, yep.
So those forward clutches look really thin. Now the 700 had a thicker clutch in here for the forward, because they started putting a wave in here to soften the engagement, and they had to go with a thinner clutch because they quit putting the clutch against the wave, and they started putting a clutch against the steel instead of a wave like this one here is, see. Now you have a wave steel clutch. With a 700, the clutch went right against the wave plate like that.
Gotcha.
And then went like that, see. So they had to make room for this. So they put the thinner clutches in there, so. And you have your engine braking clutch. This thing's really old stuff. Look how old that is. It don't even look like it was new when they built it and painted it back black. I mean, it don't have no signs of any type of new
Right.
Borg Warner lines, numbers, or anything like that. Alto, anything. It's just so old. And we did pop a glove there. Now I think there's 100 of them in here. So my last video, my guy said, "Hey, if it tears, change it." So I'm gonna tear it. If it tore, I'm changing it. So, but
You almost got all the way through.
yeah, it did, didn't it? But it's like these sharp edges and stuff like that. It's real easy to cut them. Now you can see here this sprag was stationary. It wasn't spinning on the outer race. It was spinning on this race right here. It was spinning in here. And it was just being stationary there. Sometimes it'll go vice versa. It'll spin on this one, not on this one. But this sprag looks really nice. One of the better ones. Or the race there in a race. And you can see here, it's just never used it. Just stopped there and never moved again. So. It does have an aftermarket dual cage sprag in it still, so it has had that replaced. Our lube seal, all aluminum pistons, no bonded piston. Now it could have a bonded piston on the bottom. Let's do that real quick and see. Because like I said, they started introducing the bonded pistons on the 4L60s. So if it's going to be there, it should be starting to see it in here. Let's see what we got here. Nope, not there yet. So we still have just your standard aluminum 3/4 piston even. So, but there's no rust or anything like that where water got in here. Just really nasty. So, even looking even better. I was going to brag on my contacts were working better, but I missed it. There they are. I knew they are. Get the forward planet and the shell out here real quick. Kind of put this down. Now you can see here, it's just still got your standard washer. Nothing exciting here. 4-pinion planet. Always check for your pins, any type of wobbling. So we're going to change this to a roller bearing. Just from the weight of the vehicle, it needs that no matter how you look at it. So put a hardened shell in it. It looks like it might have one in it. Looks like it has one in it already. But we do have wear here on the washer where the washer runs, so put a new one in there. Get your sun gear on both sides. Looks really nice. Pull our anti-clunk spring out. Now we do have a low reverse clutch failure here. It looks like pretty cooked up. This thing didn't have no reverse at all. It would still have low gear because of the sprag here. So it'd still have low gear taken off, shift first, second, stuff like that. Now it wouldn't have no engine braking. If you pulled it down, it wouldn't just be no pull down for engine braking, and it wouldn't have any reverse. Now being that this car is real heavy, this tranny does have a wave in it right here. We'll be taking that wave out, just getting rid of it. The car's heavy. Heavy's never going to know that we did that. But you can see here the clutches have no material on them anymore at all. So then you look at your planet really good. So we just get all these in here anymore, just wore out. You can see here, we'd already started cutting it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that clutch did. See? So it's got to have a new planet no matter how you look at it. So I guess it's got the wide sprag in it already. It's got the shallow lip on it right here. It doesn't have a thick one because right through here is where they started doing that. So just anytime you change parts, you really want to look at your parts really good. So, well, we got lucky. We got a good four-wheel drive case we can put on the shelf for the next customer, and we got a good two-wheel drive case here that we can clean up and put all these parts back in and get this beautiful red car going. So if y'all need anything, give us Hart Precision Transmissions. Y'all please subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. We have a lot to come, you guys, so y'all stay tuned. Have a good day.